Okay, welcome back. We're going to continue on with Milady Standard Natural Hair Care and Braiding book. This is hair part three. As I told you before, the hair portion is definitely in depth, which makes sense. Hello, it's Cosmetology School, and we are going for advanced natural hairstylist. So we're going to go over a lot of hair components. Chapter six, hair and scalp diseases and disorders. This is a very lengthy chapter, and we're going to split this up between hair diseases and disorders and scalp diseases and disorders, as well as hair treatments and scalp treatments. So, for hair diseases and disorders and treatments, let's go ahead and get started. So, our learning objectives are discuss the types of hair loss and their causes, describe the treatment procedure for hair loss, name and describe the varying hair disorders and treatments. Everyone wants to have healthy, beautiful hair. A client's personal goal to obtain attractive, healthy hair can be greatly diminished by the weakened condition or traumatized state of the scalp. Some diseases of the scalp are infectious. Others may be an allergic reaction to chemicals, and still others are an autoimmune response. All of them cause problems. Each disease or disorder has its own specific symptoms or conditions. Others, such as seborrheic dermatitis and psoriasis dermatitis, may have similar inflammatory conditions. Although these two scalp disorders manifest similar topical conditions, seborrheic dermatitis is the most common and can be helped in the salon with the application of non-fatty skin and scalp products designed for sensitive skin. Psoriasis dermatitis in general requires a visit with the dermatologist or physician to eliminate the skin disorder. The natural stylist should have on hand a list of dermatologists who are experienced in treating people of color with multi-texture hair and skin disorders. The relationship between the dermatologist and the natural stylist should be complementary and interactive. For a natural hairstylist, the focus is on hygiene, wellness, beauty, and care. On the other hand, the dermatologist's primary goal is to analyze, treat, prevent, and cure. Both professions address and fulfill the inherent need we have to be attractive, healthy, culturally aware, and socially accepted. Why study hair and scalp diseases and disorders? Natural stylists should study and have a thorough understanding of the history of natural hair care and braiding and the career opportunities available because you need to know how and why the hair grows and falls out in order to differentiate between normal and abnormal hair loss. To protect you and your client, you need to be able to identify certain scalp disorders that could be harboring communicable diseases. Knowing what creates natural texture is a part of offering the appropriate service for the client with the most effective treatment and hair enhancement camouflage. Hair loss in your client. The emotional impact of hair loss is very real for men and women. Although it has been noted that hair loss occurs more often in men than in women, both are affected by the agonizing and intense feelings of shame, embarrassment, social anxiety or discomfort, and lack of attractiveness. When hair loss occurs, the client's self image is impaired. For both men and women, losing hair or even addressing the issues of a hair or scalp disorder can be problematic and stressful. Some things an individual might experience with hair loss are lack of assertiveness, personality changes. They may become less personable or likable, looking much older by 5 years or more. Clients with hair loss may come to you first before going to a physician. As a natural stylist, you will be the first authority to address their emotional, aesthetic, and hair health needs. It is vital for you to recognize the disease or disorder so that you can cosmetically treat the problem. The natural stylist's role is to educate the client on proper products, services, and techniques that will diminish the problem. If the affected area of hair loss is a recent problem for the client occurring in the last 3 to 12 months, the natural stylist may be able to determine whether the hair loss is a result of chemical, physical, mechanical, or emotional effects in order to appropriately refer their client. The longer the scalp injury or disorder persists, the more permanent the hair loss. Some clients cover up painfully extensive hair loss and scalp disorders by camouflaging the condition with poorly made wigs, tight weaves, and heavy extensions, all of which can intensify the problem. The natural stylist must assist the client by offering support and self care and a maintenance regimen that addresses or diminishes the problem. Causes of hair loss. During the hair growth cycle, people can lose an average of 50 to 100 hairs a day during the telogen/shedding phase. When a client's hair begins to thin, break, or fall out, or when male pattern baldness becomes apparent, the body is often sending a signal that something is wrong. Hair loss can be introduced or can result in the following ways: hereditary, male or female pattern baldness due to inherited genes, aging, emotional stress, sudden weight loss, poor nutrition, hormonal changes, pregnancy or menopause, medications or drugs, surgery, injury, endocrine disorders, thyroid problems, viral diseases, cancers, lupus, infection due to improper sterilization, autoimmune disease, excessive heat, and chemical heat hair treatments. The internal factors that may cause hair loss usually require professional medical attention for proper diagnosis. Generally, a dermatologist will recommend a prescription shampoo, a topical scalp treatment, and or a steroid injection provided during an office visit. Often the client will bring his prescribed hair treatment and request that you use it instead of the salon products. As with all products, read the labels and instructions before using it on the client. Caring for your client. If the medical condition can be arrested, often the hair will return when the body heals. Clients who are living with autoimmune diseases such as cancer, lupus, HIV, diabetes, and many other long term degenerative diseases are very sensitive both physically and emotionally. The natural stylist must be supportive and patient and listen to each client's special styling needs. Often, natural twists, soft braided, weave styles, or wigs can be created to camouflage as well as diminish the hair loss problem. Take special note of any tenderness, scalp abrasions, or lesions when servicing clients with degenerative diseases to avoid causing infection. Your client who have hair loss must avoid wearing heavy, thick braid extensions or feeling extreme tension from cornrows or weaves. These techniques will only accelerate the problem. Because the weight of extensions will weaken already fragile hair strands, placing large amounts of hair extensions on small amounts of thin, fragile hair creates stress on the hair shaft and can only cause further damage. It can be painful and would eventually lead to traction alopecia. In most cases, advise your clients not to use larger braid extension services such as Kasama braids, oh, corkscrews, or knots during a transitional period of hair growth. You will avoid applying stress on damaged hair or the scalp as new and sparse hair returns. Using the feed-in method of corn rolling would best suit and protect hair in this transitional period. For better results, offer non-extension braid services. Treat these clients with nurturing hands and scalp treatments, scalp massages, and a supportive, positive outlook. Your attitude and disposition will help clients relax and eventually build trust in your ability to nurture and groom their hair. Another alternative for major hair loss is to offer the client a stylish contemporary wig. This approach will allow you to continue hair treatments without causing styling stress on the affected areas of the scalp. Styling and cutting a wig is a regular service you may offer clients with special needs. Hair growth does not occur overnight. Inform your client that whatever caused the hair loss problem took months or years to develop. It will take much more time to stop the problem and for the client's hair to return. The longer the client has the hair loss problem, the longer it will take for the scalp to recover from the trauma. If the scalp is badly scarred or chemically burned, or if the hair's papilla, the bulb of the hair strand, is totally destroyed, permanent hair loss will occur. Never create false hope. Be realistic with clients. Offer all possibilities to your client: the natural cut, fro, and twist with or without soft extensions, or soft braided styles that will encourage hair growth and enhance the client's appearance. The chemical effect. Since the late 1950s, women with curly and coily textured hair have been chemically straightening their hair. Its social and cultural rewards have been the major factor in its mainstream popularity. Removing and diminishing the texture was the ultimate goal of every young black woman around the world. Every visual image on television, movies, and videos, as well as in books, social settings, and the work environment, have reinforced has reinforced the concept that Black women need to have thermal heat straightening or chemically straightened hair. Applying a sodium hydroxide relaxer lye on tight, cool, curly, or curly, highly textured hair may at first glance seem to make the hair more manageable and shiny. However, the harsh corrosive chemicals negatively affect the hair and the scalp. In many cases, a client can suffer from severe skin abrasion, burning, and inflammation from the improper use of chemical products and poor technical skills. Unfortunately, when clients receive a relaxer service, the burning and scalp discomfort have become the norm. Clients believe the longer the chemical stays on and or burns the scalp, the straighter the hair becomes. On social media, you can find hundreds of blogs on the topic of what to do for scalp burns associated with the product. Standard chemical treatments, whether they use lye, sodium hydroxide, no lye, calcium hydroxide, or no lye ammonium thioglycolate, or keratin treatments with pH, potential hydrin, are harsh on the sponge-like scalp. The skin absorbs chemicals. Repeated exposure of caustic chemicals will lead to hair loss and scalp damage. Gray hair, hair disorders, and treatments. Gray hair, or candidase, is the technical term for graying hair. Its immediate cause is the loss of natural pigment or melanin in the hair. There are two types. Congenital candidase exists at or before birth. It occurs in albinos, people whose hair and bodies lack melanin, and occasionally in persons with normal hair. A patchy type of congenital hair graying may develop either slowly or rapidly, depending on the cause of the condition. Acquired candidase is due to the aging process or may occur prematurely in early adult life. Hair graying can be observed as early as age 13 in curly hair types. The decrease or loss of melanin has been correlated to the hair growth cycle. As we age during the telogen phase, the follicle and bulb shrink, reducing the process of hair pigmentation or melanin. Heredity, prolonged illness, and diet may also affect the hair pigmentation process. Ringed hair is another variety of candidase. It is characterized by alternate bands of gray and dark pigmented hair, a condition also known as salt and pepper. Hypertrichosis or hirsutis refers to superfluous hair and abnormal development of terminal hair on areas of the body normally bearing only downy vellus hair. Women with this disorder commonly have light mustaches, beards, or extreme facial hair. This condition is treated by tweezing hair or removing it with depilatories, electrolysis, waxing, or shaving. Trichoptilosis is the technical term for split hair ends. Split ends are treated by applying conditioning hair oils to the hair to soften and lubricate the dry ends. Split ends are permanently removed by cutting. Trichorexis nodosa, or knotted hair, is a dry, brittle condition that includes formation of nodular swellings along the hair shaft. The hair breaks easily, and there is a brush-like spreading out of the fibers of the broken hair along the hair shaft. Softening the hair with conditioners is beneficial. Monolithics is the technical term for beaded hair. The hair breaks between the beads or nodes. Scalp and hair treatments may improve the hair condition. Fragilistic cranium is the technical term for brittle hair or split ends. The hair may split at any part of their length. Conditioning hair treatments may be recommended. Cutting above the split hair is required to reduce further damage. Chemical damage. As a natural stylist, you are not legally allowed to apply chemical altering services. However, it is your responsibility to understand how chemical services work on textured hair. The external factors that can traumatize the scalp and cause hair loss usually stem from improper chemical relaxing and perm applications. Most women of the African diaspora and other women of color have straightened their textured hair with chemical relaxers. It is the most popular form of styling. About 90% of African American women have relaxed their hair at one time or another. There are two basic types of chemical straighteners. One type of relaxer is sodium hydroxide or lye perm. The other types are guanidine hydroxide and lithium hydroxide relaxers or no lye perms. Due to the instability of the guanidine hydroxide relaxers, an activator or calcium hydroxide is added to the base to protect the new growth of textured hair. No-lie perms, as they are commercially called, dominate the retail market. Relaxer home kits can be bought at any neighborhood beauty supply store. They are the most popular relaxer kits for home use because they claim to be mild, safe, and gentle relaxers. These claims are misleading. Sodium hydroxide relaxers, lye perms, have a high pH, potential hydrogen, the degree of acid mantle in the hair and scalp. The optimal neutral pH level for hair is 7. The lower the number on the pH scale, the more acidic the content. A pH higher than 7 indicates the alkaline level. The highest level on the pH scale is 14. Sodium hydroxide relaxers are the most caustic and reactive because of their pH levels, which range from about 12 to 14 on the pH scale and are potentially dangerous to the hair and scalp. When this type of chemical touches the scalp, forehead, ear, or neck, burning irritation may occur. Before applying this type of relaxer, a pre-application of petroleum is required to protect the skin and scalp. This type of highly alkaline relaxer or relaxer base requires the stylist to use an emollient such as petroleum since manufacturers anticipate irritation to the scalp. The other type of relaxers, referred to as no-base relaxers, may be composed of guanidine hydroxide no-lye. They are marketed as not requiring the use of a they are marketed as not requiring the use of a protective petroleum base. Although chemical burning is less frequent with a no base, no lye relaxer, some burning still may occur and a protective petroleum base should be applied to the hairline and scalp. Despite manufacturers' claims, sodium hydroxide relaxers are irritants to the skin, scalp, eyes, and lungs. They are also environmental toxins. According to the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, OSHA, repeated use over a long period of time can promote temporary or permanent hair loss. Relaxers containing a concentrated solution with pH levels equal to 13.5 will cause the hair to dissolve and result in irreversible baldness and scalp burns. A burning sensation on the scalp combined with a sore throat, nausea, vomiting, and shortness of breath may be linked to certain cancers. The most frequently noted side effect from using chemical relaxers is hair breakage. Anyone who has had a relaxer applied to their hair has experienced some type of breakage. Hair breakage is most common at the suboccipital nape of the neck, where the chemical is often first applied and remains on the hair for the longest. The frontal and temporal hairlines are secondary locations of damage because of long exposure to the chemical and overlapping processes during touch-up services. For most women, touch-up services are applied much too often for chemically treated hair, usually every 3 to 4 weeks. This is not enough time to allow new natural hair to grow. Touch-ups are recommended every 6 to 8 weeks and even 10 weeks. The noted dermatologist Dr. Wesley Wilborn of Atlanta, Georgia, believes that frequent retouches are harmful. He says the relaxer invariably will overlap onto previously treated hair, causing resultant irreparable damage to the hair shaft and subsequent breakage. In addition, Dr. Wilborn explains that a debilitatory effect may occur from the improper use of a chemical relaxer. The hair literally melts away when the cosmetologist chooses the incorrect relaxer strength or leaves the product on too long. The cosmetologist must be aware that all chemicals cause some kind of side effect, and that is their responsibility to minimize the occurrence when using these products. Here are some factors that affect the degree of breakage from relaxers: strength of relaxer, application time, effective removal, neutralizing shampoo, hair texture, phenotype, desired finish look. Many of the no-base relaxers are marketed for home use. Consumers buy the home kit to apply the relaxers themselves. Inevitably, the consumer will overlap or overprocess the hair. Most people will overlap hair in sections of the head that cannot be easily reached, such as the nape and crown. Although no-base relaxers are milder to the scalp, when used improperly, the chemicals can create breakage and scalp damage. Relaxer home kits are generally more drying since they are formulated with calcium hydroxide. Kitty perms are another popular chemical service offered as a home kit. Beautiful young girls with shiny, straight hair are displayed on the boxes. The advertising is aimed towards vulnerable youths who wants to look like the girls on the box. These advertisements might give the false impression that young children look more acceptable with straight hair. In the 1970s and 1980s, Jerry curls and California curls, or thioglycolate perms, no-lie perms were extremely popular. These chemical services offer African American men and women other styling options. First, the natural texture was removed or chemically straightened. Then the hair was rolled and saturated with an oxidizing agent or neutralizer to shape the wave patterns, creating a loose curl. This two-step procedure lost its popularity after consumers reported severe scalp damage and breakage. The active ingredient, ammonium thioglycolate, was strong and depleted moisture from the hair. To maintain the curly style, the client was required to frequently replenish moisture with emollients that sealed in moisture and kept the hair wet and sticky. Clients often covered their hairs with plastic bags and shower caps to retain the moisture. Hair breakage occurred during the straightening process if the hair was not kept hydrated. The same factors that affect breakage for relaxers hold true for curl or wave systems. Relaxed hair is stronger when dry, but curly, wavy, and coily, kinky hair is more expansive and stronger when moist or wet. Many clients reported that their hair was healthier and grew faster when they had a curly perm. However, it appears that the chemical service did not promote hair growth. Rather, it was the moisturizing gels, sprays, and lotion that kept the hair wet and moist that aided in protecting the hair. Although the popularity of the curl perms has declined, the use of synthetic moisturizing agents has not. Moisture is key to healthy and natural texture hair. In this section, you have learned that many clients with a history of using chemicals on their hair wrestle with hair breakage and scalp damage. The natural hair care specialist must be emotionally supportive and patient and must listen to clients' special styling needs. You should offer all the possibilities to your clients, including natural or braided styles that will encourage hair growth. The factors that cause hair loss usually stem from improper chemical relaxing and perm applications. The lower the number on the pH scale, the more acidic the content. Although no base relaxers are milder to the scalp, when used improperly, the chemicals can create breakage and scalp damage. All right, so that's the end of part 3. We're going to move on to hair part 4.